Hello everybody, and welcome. Welcome to this new episode of Contemporary Music Talks. And today I'm super happy to have Francesca here with me in the studio. Aspetta, I will take the mic a little bit closer.
Yes.
So here we are with another episode. Francesca is guitar player, but not only. We have also other stuff here for today's episode. Hello, Nick. I see two Hebos. Yeah, you see right. So we are off to a good start. Hello, everyone, again. And yeah, we can start, I think, with a little presentation. Can you tell something about you and your work?
Sure. So, first of all, hi everybody. Of course, I am a guitar player, as you can see, and I come from the field of classical music, actually, because my studies were in that field, in that academic reality, and then I decided to go for the electric guitar and to explore the world of the sonic world of my instrument and to try to create my own music, but without really composing that in a traditional way. So I started to investigate what I could do through improvisation, free improvisation. And yeah, a few weeks ago, you listened to a few tracks of my first album. So I guess that somebody of you has already heard something, listened to something that I have already recorded. But yeah, the coolest thing is that it's every time different. So that album is actually a picture, photography of myself 2 years ago. So it has already changed very much. I also changed my instrument, so it's gonna sound much different. But yeah, it's really cool. I can hear the transformation and the development of my music through the years. So it's really fascinating and challenging.
Yeah, it's also super nice that with improvised music you can really get in touch with yourself in that moment.
Yes.
If you record something that is an improvisation, it's like a unique document that tells you who you were in that moment and what you were doing. Yeah, it's super nice. Are you working on something right now, for example?
Yes, I have a few new projects actually. I have two duo projects. One is with a singer, an Italian singer, and the other one with a guitar player. So it's going to be duos, but also conversations. So not really music together, like call and responses. So we are working on that. And then there is another very cool project I have with a group of 10 improvisers. So it's something very fresh. We had a residency last May in Tuscany, and we recorded an album which is going to be released soon, hopefully. And last week we had our first concert together. It was really cool. So yeah, I hope it's going to develop itself very much.
That's super interesting. You were talking about these projects with other people, and of course you started with your own solo projects. So speaking about improvisation, what's for you the difference between the two approaches? We are always talking about improvisation, obviously, but there are different type of dynamics and different type of approaches to improvisation if you are working on your own or with other people. What's your, what's your idea when you start improvise with other people, and what's your idea when you start improvise on your own?
Well, it's very different, as you mentioned. When you're playing with other people, I think that the most important thing is to find your position in the group. I mean, taking the space you need, but also leaving space for other people, because otherwise you just take everything for yourself and then you're alone again. When you're alone, it's much different because you have all the space you want, but you have to be conscious of what you're in dialogue with. Because when you're in a group, of course, you have other people, so you can dialogue with that person, the other person. When you're alone, it's really about creating this connection and this dialogue with yourself or with an audience you're imagining, or with silence itself. So it's about questioning this topic. So what or who you are talking with, and what you're saying, and how you want to say that.
Yeah. There is a lot of meat on the grill here,
Oh
obviously.
yes, very much.
Yeah. I'm totally fascinated by the the two different ways that you can approach improvisation on your own and with other people. I usually play on my own and with other people improvising. So there is there is always that type of focus that you need to understand how a situation works when you're working with other people, and when you are on your own, there is this kind of, for me at least, there is this kind of focus on not replicating what I just did, for example, trying to develop new ways, new roads, try to discover a new path here and there. Yeah, it's super interesting, and of course, I think improvisation, at least for me in group, means really creating a dialogue with the other people, and being able to listen to yourself and to the whole situation at the same time, which is not easy at all, because you need to have like four pairs of ears for yourself and as an audience that listen to that situation and it's not into the flow of the improvisation, and you need to have another pair of ear for listening to what the other people are doing. So yeah, it's a super difficult task, at least something that needs a lot of training.
Yes, it does.
Absolutely. Mm. Totally. And well, can you tell us a little bit about your album Namatoulee?
Sure.
Because I found it really interesting. For example, the titles. Obviously, it's an instrumental album with some vocals here and there, but mostly an instrumental album. And yeah, I wanted to ask you why this title, why the track titles, and what's of course the idea behind this album.
Sure. So this is my first album, and I really wanted it to be something that could give an idea of the musical journey I did during all this first period of my life. So it was a very important thing to do, and I'm really happy that I did that through the language of improvisation, because I think it was really the best way to do that and to achieve that goal I wanted to get. So I was somehow a little bit afraid of doing that, because it was the first time for me to do something like that in solo and the first release. So I somehow waited a little bit, but at a certain moment, I just decided to book the studio and just go for it, because otherwise I would have waited so much. So yeah, I had a wonderful time in the studio. The studio is called Ritmo and Blue in Pozzolengo, and the sound engineer is Stefano Castagna, and he did a wonderful work. I'm really happy about the sound, and I didn't plan any particular thing before going to the studio, and Stefano was somehow curious about what I would have recorded in those days, and he asked me, Francesca, what are you planning to do? And I told him, oh, I don't know. Let's see what comes out. The only thing I really wanted for this album was about the length of the tracks, because I didn't want them to be too long. Because I didn't want that to be just a repetition and just a physical document of some sort of concert. So I really wanted that to have a format of an album with short or medium length tracks, and I decided to go for 6 minutes maximum tracks, because I thought it was something good for people that are not used to listen to that kind of music. So that's what I decided, and it kind of worked, because when I was in the studio, it was very natural to just play my pieces, and they were always between that length. So yeah, that was the plan. Of course, it was curious to be there and to have to begin with music. So okay, what am I going to do? So I was in somehow something like this kind of situation. I have my instrument, I have my preparations, the objects and everything. Okay, so what am I going to do now? So I decided to go for with sections. Like I decided to start with I don't know, with the slides or the EBO, and I would record something with these sonic materials, and I proceeded in this way, just doing some sections with some recordings with this sonic word, and then I would change and go for different things. And yeah, the tracks have no overdubs, and of course I did a few editing, but not something crazy, of course. So it's very honest about what happened, and I don't have the impression it's less truthful of what would happen during a live concert. So it's cool. About the names, that's something
I'm super curious about them.
Yeah, it's very funny, because I had no idea what to do with the titles, because I wanted to find very cool titles, but I didn't want them to be too descriptive. I didn't want to close the imagination of the listener who reads the titles and says, okay, here is a sunset. Okay, I imagine that, but maybe it could give another image in someone else's mind. So I decided to go for words that had no specific meaning. And I invented these words. Of course, they have no meaning, but they are not random. I decided to find a way to have phonemes like ma, lu, that had a musical sonic similarity with the sonic material I had played. So it's somehow a sort of translation into phonemes of the sounds you are going to hear in the tracks. And for a few tracks, it's really sort of a translation of a specific moment I really enjoyed of the tracks. And I wanted them to be somehow easy to pronounce in many different languages. So they have no specific pronunciation. You can say Namatoulee, Namatoulee, it's whatever, it's okay. I don't mind, of course. And yeah, I like them. Some people told me, yeah, it sounds like Finnish or it sounds African. I don't know. It's cool.
Yeah, my first idea was exactly that. They sounded really like, you know, some kind of African language, at least in my mind. But yeah. Also, Nick, I think like that with titles too. Sometimes don't want to influence the listener beforehand. Yeah, that's a good. I think that's a good practice that I'm not able to follow actually, because of course I'm also doing a lot of instrumental and improvised music, and I always try to to put a concept into titles, and so yeah, there are different approaches, but both I think they are interesting in a certain way. Obviously, yeah, super nice. That's I'm yeah. Um, Another question that I wanted to ask you was about you have a classical training, and how did it happen that you moved to the more contemporary type of languages in your creative path?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I think it's important to talk about that because, of course, you could imagine Francesca at 15 playing Targa and Villa Lobos, and somehow something happened. And it happened when I was around 20 years old, I think. So I was preparing a very demanding exam at the conservatory. It was the 8th grade exam. Now it's different, but it was a very demanding exam full of mandatory pieces, a lot of technical stuff. I was struggling a lot. And I realized one day that I had the feeling I was stuck in front of a score, and that without a score in front of me, I would have found that difficult to create some music, some sort of music, my own music. And I didn't want that. So I decided to start taking lessons with jazz guitarist, which was not really my thing. I tried, but yeah, it didn't work. So I started going to workshops with improvisers, teachers who could give me new perspectives and new challenges to use my instrument in a different way. And unfortunately, I was aware that the conservatory was not able to give me that possibility. So I had to find that somewhere else. And it was not very easy, but I could find amazing people who taught me very interesting things. But of course, I have to mention that my teacher at the conservatory, my guitar teacher, introduced me to contemporary music, and that was really important because I was curious. I had that curiosity, and I enjoyed listening to different things. So that was really important to feed my curiosity. We started with composers like Takemitsu or even Ambrosini and many others. So it was always nice to play that music. And the conservatory in Venice was really open to that kind of music, that must be said.
Yeah, obviously they have. I think they should, or they should have a a very important background. Venice was the home of Maderna
No,
and
no.
no, so
Yeah.
obviously some of the greatest Italian contemporary composer of the 60s and of the 70s. Yeah, that's super interesting. But of course, I'm not trained at all. I'm a self-taught musician, so obviously I always see like the academy as a sort of of closed place with closed with a close view, but obviously it's not like that. It's not always like that. And I'm super happy that they introduced you to contemporary music.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
And after that, I spent 4 years in Switzerland, where I could study in amazing schools, the Hochschule, both in Bern and in Basel. And in Basel, I did the most amazing experience ever as a music student, because I did a master in free improvisation. That was super cool. And we had two main teachers. One of them is Fred Frith, so like super guru of the improvisation and an amazing guitar player. The other one is Alfred Zimmerlin, a wonderful cello player and composer, and we did really an amazing journey together with the whole class. It was not a very big class, but made of 5 people, and so it was really really stimulating and enriching. So somehow the academy, the tradition in the academy can contain this kind of creative new approach. And in Basel it was possible. It was really cool.
Yeah, it's nice, really. I know that you are going to play a lot this summer. Um, what are your feelings about improvisation and experimental music with an audience? So what are your approach when you prepare a concert, and what are your idea behind a performance? Yeah, I'm curious about your approach for the concert, because a thing is a recording and a thing is a concert.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Of course, it really depends on the situation, the room where I'm going to play, or the place where I'm going to perform, and the the occasion, like if it's for a festival or for something like more not related to a specific and for a specific audience, let's say. So I always try to imagine which kind of audience I'm going to perform for. Sometimes I am very surprised about the results, because maybe I am expecting an audience who is not going to enjoy very much what I'm going to do, or maybe I'm expecting that place to host an audience who has no interest in that, and maybe they have just come for a beer or something like that. Sometimes that creates a very big surprise, because actually the opposite happens. So that situation is always very, very nice. So that is the first thing. I try to imagine what could happen regarding this communication and this connection between myself and the audience. Then, of course, I try to imagine what I could play. But it's always very tricky, because you're going to expect some things, but then it turns out to be completely different. So very often, before you go on stage, you somehow try to plan things like, I could start with some slidings and maybe harmonics, and then I can do that. And then you go on stage and you do the opposite, because you cannot really control that so much. I mean, I don't like doing that, because it would sound a little bit artificial somehow. Yeah, that's it. And about the length of the pieces, it really depends on what happens, what the situation is. So sometimes I play longer pieces, and sometimes I play shorter pieces. It really depends. And I always have my set of instruments and gear. So every time I have my things, and it has to be like that. But in case I forget something, it's no big deal. I can play with with anything. Sometimes it happens that I don't really use my objects and my preparations so much, because maybe I just want to go for some traditional sound. So it's so for that. And I find it very, very cool that every performance is very much different from the other ones I had done previously. So yeah, that's always challenging, but super satisfying. Yeah, because it's different.
Yeah, I see that you took a lot of objects today, because of course this is a conversation, but it's also there is also a little bit of demonstration, I guess. We have like the instruments here. Can you show us what you have?
Yes.
Here?
So first of all, I remember that during your live about Aut Records, a few people were curious about, oh, maybe it's a prepared guitar. Yes, it is a prepared guitar. So this is, of course, something I did not invent. It's something that comes from the illuminated idea of John Cage with the prepared piano. And I found objects that produce sounds that I really like on my instrument. So it's cool to see what every different musician decides to choose and to use, because it's going to affect very much the sound you're going to listen to. So this is a result of many years of investigation. So like 3 years ago, I didn't have this, I maybe didn't have those ones, I guess. I had different things. So it's always changing. So cool. Something goes away, something new arrives. So it's cool. Of course, some people mentioned the EBO. This is a very cool device we can use on the electric guitar, even on pianos, but it's specifically for guitar. This is an electric bow. This is what the name means. So when you switch it on, it has a cool light, and it basically produces a magnetic field, which makes a steel string vibrate constantly. So the result is this. Well, now we can do that with with some
with the amplifier.
Yes, it's very cool. It works only on steel strings, and you just do this. You put it, and the sound is constant. So the challenge is to create a sound which is not too still, and to have it a little bit more vivid, let's say. And of course it changes so much the result with the pickups you have. So in my album I had a different guitar with different pickups, so it sounds very different here. And I like using two of them because you can just play with them and creating and you can add a little bit of delay. Yeah, and you can just create many layers with this in this way. And in the album and in my performances, I always love to change the tuning of the instrument, so you can get every time different results and different sonic words. Yeah, it's really cool. So yeah, in the album it sounds much different also because of this. And you can also play with the pressure you give to the ebow. So if I put that on the, let's say on the 6th string, if I go closer to the string, oh sorry, the delay. Now it's touching the string, so it produces this high pitch. And you can slide it a little bit. So yeah, it's really a word inside of this. It's really cool. The only problem is that it's really expensive, so you better treat it well. Otherwise, if you break it, it's not that very good. Yeah, but I like it very much. It's really expressive. And then I like very much using the slides. So I like using both of them together, even alone, because they just sounds like this. And of course, there is no proper way of using that. You just go like this. You can go fast, like this, or slowlier. And it's really cool to use them as some sort of a bridge, so you can play both to the left and to the right, activating both pickups. And even play and everywhere in the guitar. This is something I do very, very often. And of course you can combine the slide with the ebow, so you can have this tone, this pitch that goes up and goes down. So everything can be combined with everything else here on the table. So then here, this is super cool. This is an object used to slice the egg. I just took a part away, and it sounds like some sort of a harp.
Yeah.
And if you put that on the pickup, you just amplify that. You can put that in the loop machine or in the delay, so super cool. And then this is very funny, something brand new in my group of objects. This is something how would you describe that? Because you know what this is.
It's a part of the film, of a Polaroid film. It's basically one of the pieces that you use to put the cartridge into the Polaroid machine.
Yeah, this is what remains when you finish a pack of those ones. And it sounds really cool. It has a lot of pieces. You can just put it inside of the strings, but like plucking the different parts, it really produces cool sounds. And you just do the same thing. The sound like I don't know, some treble things, or you put that inside of the strings and you just oops, something like that. You can explore that, or yeah, many different things. I still have to explore this a little bit more, but it's very nice. And then we have music boxes, which I love very much. And it's cool because the guitar becomes an amplifier of these tiny sounds. And I just buy them when I'm abroad and when I find something nice. And this sounds better because it has wood here, so. And you can hear this one in the track number 2 of the album. So, and this is traditional Russian song.
Okay.
Something like that. No one ever guesses that, but a friend of mine did. It was very funny. Then what we have these two, which are mallets for percussions. And you basically wrap them on the body of the instrument. Sounds like an elephant or whatever
Beautiful.
You can imagine.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. And you can, of course, use them as sticks, but I like more the wrapping thing. It's cool. Yeah, and then I have this sponge, which is really cool to have this noise.
Textures.
Yeah, a lot of textures. And last but not least, we have these two amazing springs. You can hear these sounds a lot in the album. It's very cool, and if you loop them and play them reverse, it's really cool. And yeah, I love these sounds. And of course, the pitch you get, it changes very much depending on the place where you're scratching them on. And pencils as sticks. Ta-da. And I don't know the English word of. They do have a name. These ones, when you have a cappuccino or a coffee, I don't know. You just for. You know what I mean. So I love to put them in between the strings and to have this kind of sound. They sound very much as the prepared
steer stick. They say steer stick.
Great.
Steer
Thank you for your help. And yeah. This is really cool. And of course it changes where you put them, and then you get different sounds, and you can always also pluck. Then you change the pickup and everything is different, so it's really a huge world to explore. So yeah, then you can use many different things like coins or I don't know I don't know the English names, these clips, alligator clips.
Okay. Yeah.
These sound great. Yeah, or anything else you like. Paper or I like very much the sound of steel objects, as you can see.
Yeah.
Even wood is great, and yeah.
Here they are. The chat is Jack Rose, that I don't know who he is, made a neat track called Sun Dogs. That is just droning by wiggling a slide on the guitar string. I'm sure he didn't invented that, but it's a cool sound.
Yeah.
Totally. Or also they say gong members would rub their guitar necks at the harmonic with screwdrivers. Yeah, the sounds are wild, they are saying. Totally agree, and I really like this stuff. Absolutely amazing stuff. I don't know if can I ask you to play something?
Yeah, sure.
Do you want to? Because I think we are here and we listen to the sounds. It's like, a little taste, but I want to hit something now.
Let me change the tuning.
Yeah, nice. I'm gonna prepare a little bit the cameras with a better setting, so we can.
Okay, I guess I found
Proper
a
tuning.
proper tuning for today. And yeah, for those ones who are curious about my pedals, I decided to bring only pedals I used in the album, because in the meantime, of course, I bought new gear. So I use sound retainer, the classical and famous freeze, which does basically this. I play something like, and the sound is constant. And then there's a triple delay, which I love and I use very, very often. And I have three very different sets of delays, which I can mix up. And then I have a ring modulator, which is really cool. If you listen to the album, there is one specific track for that, and it's very, very particular because it sounds, haha, it's dead. Ah, oh man, the battery is low. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, you cannot listen to that. But anyway, everything else works, so we're fine. I'm sorry, maybe next time with the ring modulator. Yeah, so yeah,
Improvisation is also
to deal with unexpected events that can happen. Okay, so let's go. Voila.
That was super nice.
And I have to confess that, yeah, I had never done something like that with a slide like this and in between the harmonics. So yeah, cool. I like it.
Super nice.
And we have a recording.
Yeah, we have recordings, obviously. Hmm. Yeah, the chat is happy. The chat is happy. Nice. People
Phew.
Are
awesome.
Really, it was super nice. So thank you very much for playing for us.
Happy about that.
It was really super nice.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Or maybe for everybody. I mentioned that I used the electric guitar in the album, but actually there's one track which was played with a classical guitar. So if you want to listen to that, there's a challenge to find the track played by the classical guitar.
Okay.
This is funny. Only one.
Nice. People go. People in the chat, go to Aut Records Bandcamp and get your copy of Namatoulee and discover what track has the classic guitar. The album is called Namatoulee. I'm gonna let me check. I can link it to you. Give me a sec. I'm gonna move to the computer.
And I read and heard that some people were really happy about the cover of the album. I'm really happy too. It's really great. That's a special photography made by Sandro Crisafi. He's a designer who collaborates with Aut Records, and that's really cool. That's actually a sort of improvisation itself, because it's a unique piece obtained through a special technique which is called servo print, something like that. I don't remember the specific technique, but it's really special, and it's so cool because it doesn't really give a specific image, but you can see whatever you want. So it has a very close connection to the music that is connected with.
That was the same things that I got when I listened to the album and watched the cover art together. They are very similar. They are sort of, different mediums saying the same thing in a certain way. My my companion Francesco is called. It's asking. I think it's not a serious question. Did you already talk about idiomatic versus non-idiomatic improvisation in Derek Bailey? Meaning? Prossima volta, invece.
Very big topic. But anyway, if anybody has interest in improvisation, free improvisation, you really need to read that book he was mentioning, Improvisation by Derek Bailey. Really great book, and it's always good to go back to it and to read what he says, and it's really full of very nice ideas and hints. So wow.
Yeah, totally. Anyway, well, I think that's it for today. Thank you, Francesca. Thank you very much for this super nice talk and for the performance, obviously. Of course, everyone, if you like what you heard today, I strongly suggest you to go to the link that I posted just a couple of minutes ago. Of course, you can follow Francesca everywhere, and she's also doing some really interesting work on Instagram, sharing events connected to contemporary music and experimental music. So of course, if you're interested in that, you can go there and check them out. And yeah, that's it for today.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be here.
Bye everyone, have a nice time, take care of yourself, stay safe, and see you on sorry, let me check my mental schedule. So the next live stream is going to be not on Monday but on Tuesday with the next episode of Under the Label at or forget everything, and of course follow the channel and check the schedule, because it's always updated week by week with the new times and the new days of all the series. So of course, or follow Instagram and Facebook, I'm also updating everything there. So yeah, see you very soon. Bye bye.
Ciao.